All right, so this session, we're going to be going over a couple of different automation steps in the CRM. So to me, this is probably one of the most important features about Zoho CRM, that you can really let the system do some of the things for you. So now that you already have some of the processes set up and how you want to categorize and prioritize all of your different leads and potentials and everything, what's the next step and how can the system do a lot of things for you? Communicate with your customers, make sure people are following up, and keep your data intact. So what is automation, right? Automation, again, is going to be allowing the system to do some of the processes for you. So, letting the system handle some of the things that you would probably do normally on a day-to-day basis. Maybe send the same emails, follow up with the same people, or remind yourself to do some things. So what I want you guys to understand when it comes to automation in the CRM is this phrase: if this, then that. So if something happens, what's the result? What's the action that takes place, right? So let's put it into perspective. If you order a burger, maybe you want fries with that, right? In more technological perspectives, maybe if it's raining or the weather's going to be bad, maybe you want to get a notification on your phone that lets you know, hey, it's going to be raining today, maybe you should grab an umbrella. So it kind of automates some things, right, for you. And then within the CRM, let's take another example. If a deal closes, then maybe you want to send a thank you email to the customer or to that new lead or that customer that, thanks for your purchase. We'll be following up with you soon. What else do you want to do? Maybe you want to inform the sales manager or someone on their finance team that, hey, this deal closed. Let's start sending out an invoice or coming up with what they want. And you can go even further. Maybe you want to assign an account manager to that new customer to follow up with them later. So that's what you can do all at the same time when something happens in the system, right? But then this is only when a deal closes. You can get a little bit more specific on that. Maybe if a deal closes and it's in California, then you want to inform the finance person in California, maybe assign the task or a task to the California account manager. Or if it's above $10,000 and it's in California. So you can get as specific as you want, both on the beginning of it, the if part, and then also on what happens afterwards, the actions that take place, the then part. So again, it's if this, then that. So how does it look like in the CRM? So I set up another workflow rule inside the system, and what happens is whenever I create a new lead, it's going to send an email to the lead. It's going to create a follow-up task for the manager to follow up with them, and then also update their status that they've been assigned. So I'm going to create a new lead here, and I'm going to call him, just go along the same basketball example, I'll call him Steph Curry. All right, and I'll just put in a email address here that I set up at gmail.com, and I'll just put in Golden State Warriors. Okay, and save. Okay, so you can notice that the status has been updated to assign to the sales team, and then if I scroll down a bit, it looks like it created a close activity, but it says follow up with Steph. So it actually pulled their information and put it into the task. And then also that email got sent out from the CRM. Let's see if I go here. Yeah, so hello and welcome. So thank you for contacting Maverick Clothing. We would love the opportunity to talk with you in the future. So as soon as that happens, as soon as I create that new lead, those three things happen in the system, right? So how does it look like on the back end of things? Where do you go to set that up? So what you can do is hit this setup link at the top right, and then you can go into automation. And then under automation, the first link that it gives you is the workflow rules section. Okay, so this is actually where you can create those scenarios or those if parts and then apply the actions like alerts, tasks, and field updates right inside the system. So from here, if I go to that new lead workflow that I created, I'm going to just give a quick breakdown of what it looks like. I said this workflow will send an email to the lead, create a task for the rep to follow up, and then update their status, right? And then it sends that email, it assigns that task, and it updates that field. Okay. So that's what went wrong. I made the status completed automatically. So I'm going to go ahead and change that a little bit later. But yeah, essentially that if part that we saw over here where the rules are created is right over here, and then that part is these 5 different buttons that we were talking about. So you have both of those set up inside the workflow menu. And so again, this is going to be under setup and then automation. Okay, so let's come up with a scenario real quick. So let's just say you hire a new sales rep. I don't want to name anyone real or anything. I don't want to offend anyone, so let's just call him LeBron. It's his first job out of college. He doesn't really know much about what he's doing. He's kind of smart, but often forgets to do some things. So his job is to follow up with every new lead that comes into the company. So he has to send them an email, he has to introduce himself, and he has to remember to call them. And he has to make sure that he records what he does in the CRM, right? So he has to do those things. That's his responsibility. And you know how forgetful he is, so you need to make sure that he's able to do this easily and then go on to the next person or that next lead. So what do? You can create a workflow rule, right? So again, I'm going to hit the setup link and then go to automation, okay? So I'm going to hit create rule here, and I'm going to select it for leads, and I'm going to give it a new name here. So I'm going to say LeBron's workflow, okay? And you can give a description for this rule if you'd like. I'm just going to leave it blank for now and hit next. All right, great, awesome. So the next thing is it's going to ask you to select a trigger, okay? So that's the next drop-down list. And what it's going to ask you to do is either select a record action or a date field value, okay? So a date field allows you to trigger something to happen when it's like someone's birthday, or maybe it's the expiration date of a contract. You can launch some certain things to happen, like maybe send an email to yourself that says, hey, this person's contract is about to expire, that type of thing. Or maybe send an email to the person that says, hey, happy birthday, straight from the CRM. So based on a date that you have in the system. For this example, we're going to go with record action. Okay, and so when you select record action, it's going to give you these 5 categories of when you can trigger this rule. So when a lead is created, when it's changed or edited, or when a specific field is updated, right? Or when the lead is actually, or that contact is deleted, okay? So for this example, we're just going to go with something simple. We're going to do create, okay? And then the next part is setting up a criteria. So what we were talking about so far is just every new lead that comes into the system, right? Every single lead is going to get this workflow rule. But maybe I just want the leads that are in California, for example, to get that email, to get that task, and so on and so forth. Or maybe all my leads that came in from my website, for example. So I can pick and choose what types of leads or what criteria that it hits where this workflow would actually trigger, right? So I'm going to keep it general. We'll just keep it simple for now and just go on to the next. So as soon as you set up the trigger and the criteria, these are the actions that it gives you, right? So send an email, assign a task, and update a field. There's 2 other ones over here, webhooks and custom functions. We're going to talk about them a little bit later. But for now, we're just going to be concerned with emails, tasks, and field updates. Okay? So I'm going to hit send alert and hit this plus button here. So now from here, I can go ahead and create a new alert action to happen. So I'm going to say new lead email. Okay? Now it's going to allow me to select an email template from the CRM. If you haven't created any so far, that's totally fine. You can hit this create templates button, and it'll pop up a new tab on your CRM to create a new email template from here. Okay? So you could do all that straight from the system and create a new email. So I'm just going to create one real quick. I'll say, again, new lead email, and go to the subject, and I'll say, thanks for contacting us. And I'll just pull in a couple of items here. Hi. Thanks for your interest. We'll be contacting you shortly. Okay, something simple. Another cool thing about the email templates, and I kind of referred to this a little bit yesterday, is that you can pull fields from the lead or from the contact inside the template. So if you go to this section over here where it says merge fields under user and you select leads, you can go ahead and pick and choose any of the fields that you see inside the system and pull that into the email. So maybe you want to address their first name. So you can copy and paste that and put it into the email body, and so they'll be able to get that email with their contextual information, right? So we created a very, very simple template. So I'm going to go ahead and save this right over here. So I went ahead and created that template. I'm going to hit this refresh button here, and that will allow me to see that template from the list. So I can go ahead and select that template here. And then from here, it'll allow me to choose which email address that I want to send this out to. So the email address of that lead, maybe I want to send a notification to the person responsible for them that they have a new lead. But from here, I'm just going to go ahead and select lead email. Okay? So that's directly sending it to that customer or to that new lead. All right? So once you do that, you can hit the Save and Associate button, and that'll save that action. So at the top, it shows you the new lead email and what template's going to be sent out. Okay? And then, so we created an email template, right? And so the next thing that I want to do is assign a task. So I'm going to say follow up with this lead for the subject. And I'm going to say it's due 2 days after the lead is created. So let's say the lead is created today. The task is going to be due 2 days from now, so Friday, right? And then I'm going to assign it to LeBron, right? So that little icon right over here will actually pull up the list of users that you have, and then you can go ahead and pick and choose which one that you want to send it to, okay? And then I'm going to change the status to not started. And then I want to send a notification to the person, so LeBron, that he has a task coming up. So he's actually going to get an email that says, hey, you have this task due to follow up with this lead. And then I'm going to click Save and Associate. Okay, so we created an email, and we sent a task. So I'm also going to create a field update, right? So I'm going to say that the status is going to be updated. And we'll do the same thing that we went ahead and did. So lead status and assign to the sales team, right? And then we hit Save and Associate. So those three things happen in the system. So we went through the process of creating those three: send an email, assign a task, and also update a field, right? So now I can go ahead and save this rule. So now it's an active rule. It's available for you to go ahead and utilize. So now if I do try to create a lead now one more time, it's going to let me make that process up as well. So I'm going to go ahead and change one of these to inactive and save. Okay. So now if I create another lead in the system, and I'll just go with, let's think about it for a second. I'm just going to go to Steve Kerr now at warriors.com. Cool. All right. So again, that status has been updated. That activity's been created as well. And then if I go to my sent emails from CRM, there's that email. So the one that I just sent. And again, like you notice, it's pulling that first name in the email template, just like I had before. Okay? So that's how it works. So let me come up with one other scenario here, just so we can put it into perspective. Let's say when we close a deal, right? When we close a potential and market has closed one, what can we do, right? So maybe I want to send a thank you email to the customer. We'll just keep it simple like that since we don't have that much time. So I'm going to go to Setup here and go to Automation again and create another rule. And so instead of creating this rule for leads, I can go ahead and create it for potentials, right? All right, so now I'm going to say it's closed deal workflow. All right, and then I'm going to say again, record action. Okay, and instead of using the create, we're going to select edit for this one because we're going to say when the actual field is updated to closed one, right? Okay, so under the rule criteria, we're going to select stage is, and then closed one. Okay. And so under this section over here, it's asking you two different options. Do you want to execute this workflow when it's met for the first time or every time that it's met? So applying it to this, do you want this workflow to be triggered like these email and this task every single time that the stage is changed to closed one? So maybe if I have it as closed one and then I mark it back to price quote and then change it back to closed one, do you want this to happen or do you only want it to happen the first time? So that's kind of what those two options are. Okay. And as soon as I create that criteria, I can click next and then pretty much do the same actions. So again, I can create another workflow email, select a template, and then select the email that I want to send it out to and everything. So pretty much the same type of process, even though I'm setting up the criteria differently, even though it's for potentials and when it's at a specific stage, I can pretty much do the same actions. It's going to give me the same options and it'll pretty much work the same way. So that's pretty much how it works. Just to go ahead and recap some of the things that we talked about. So you can send an email. You can go ahead and create a new task as well to follow up, and then also update one of your fields. So again, you can change the status or update other things in the system. So let's just say when you close a deal, maybe you want to change the account type to customer at that point. So you could do those types of things in the system using these workflow rules. Okay. What are some other business examples of what you might need to use this for? So let's just say that when you do close a deal, so you want to pass the information to your accounting department. So you can send them an email and give them all the information about what they purchased and allow them to send an invoice. What else could you do? Maybe if you lose a customer and you update the status to X customer, then it sends an email to the manager to let them know that you've lost one of your customers. Maybe send a reminder when the customer's contract is about to expire, right? So once you hit the expiration date, or maybe it's a month before the expiration date, maybe you want to let the customer know that they have a renewal date coming up. So what are some advanced actions that you can do on top of the emails, tasks, and field updates? So you can send webhooks. So a webhook is sort of like what this was supposed to be doing. You can notify or trigger a URL to do something. So what we did in this light example is that there's this website that you can go to that would physically change the color of this light, right? And so that's what a webhook would do, is that you can launch a URL to do something in another software. Custom functions. So we talked about this a little bit here and there, but essentially this would allow you to write your own script of any of your own functions that you would want to do. So let's just say that you want to notify your QuickBooks about information. So you can write a custom function script that pushes information to QuickBooks and updates contact details or potential information. And then you can also create a time-based action. So what a time-based action does is allows you to delay or schedule an action for later. So on top of the actions that we talked about in a workflow, where you can send an email, you can create a task, so on and so forth, these are all instantaneous actions, right? Now you can also schedule an action to happen a little bit later using a time-based one. So let's just say you want to send another series of emails, or maybe create another task a little bit later for LeBron to follow up. Then I'll just say second follow-up here and trigger it at a certain time. So maybe 30 days after this rule was triggered, then you can send another series of actions to happen a little bit later. So that's an example of a time-based action. So that's pretty much it for what we talked about on workflows. I'm going to have Fernando come up and talking about macros, assignment rules, and also approvals.
Hi everyone. All right. Macros. What's macros? Well, Samir just talked about workflows. Workflows just help you to do something automatic. So automatically, you don't have to do it. You have once you set it up, you don't have to worry about it, and it will do it for you. But sometimes you want to do something that you want to do at that moment. So you probably have some leads that you need to change to update the field status, and you want to send an email to them. But they probably you can set a criteria for about, let's say, 100 leads, but you probably don't want to send it to all of them. They meet the criteria, then you probably create another criteria and say, well, I only want 4 people in the USA. So then that's another criteria, and you want to do it right now. You don't want to wait for the workflow because they're already in the system. So that's when the macros comes in. The way to activate the macro is through an email, and you can update 3 fields, up to 3 fields, and create up to 3 tasks that you can do automatically. And let me show you how to do that. So when we go to leads, you will see you have run macro and create a macro, manage the macro. So you will see this on the list, contacts, and cases module for any record that you create. So here you can come and let's manage this macro here. Chat, I created this one for this case. So I created this macro I want to send this macro only to the voicemail. This is for the status on the lead. So the status on the lead is voicemail, left voicemail. Let me see. Contacted via email. All right. So then the name is voicemail follow-up on macro. This macro is for leads that had already been attempted to contact, but were left a voicemail instead. So then that's why I created this macro. So we go to edit. I created a template. First, you have to create the template. Then you'll have to create a view to select all those people that you want to send it to. You don't want to select one by one. You want to select it through a view. So then let me open another tab, and I'll show you how to create a view. All right, so here are all my open leads. You can see over here on the left-hand side. So I created already the view for voicemail follow-ups. And I'm going to show you how I created that. So I created, if you notice, I just went to the right and you can create a view that way. Let me go back. So here, you can edit, delete, and clone the view or create a new one. If you remove that, you won't see them. So let me just click edit. I type the name. I mark as a favorite, so I see on the top. Here you can just drag all the columns that you want to see on that specific view. And you can select who you want to view it. Everyone, yourself, or align other users to see it. And the criteria for this specific view I created that was lead status is voicemails left. So on my lead status, you have contacted, not contacted. I have sent email, contacted through email, contacted through phone. I have all those leads already, all those stages already set on my lead status. So I just selected that one, where I can select any other ones if I want to, and just click select any of those if I want to. All right, press save. So now I have the view. Now I have only the people that we have left a voicemail. They're all from different countries. All the columns that I have here. Now I go back and to edit the macro. So here I have already lead status, contacted through email, and I created a task. So on the task, I have due days in 3 days. The lead status is going to change to the status of this task is not started. So you can check that on activities under the task. Priority, you can set that however you want. Assign it, you can record owner, or assign it to anyone else. Maybe you have something specifically to contact these people that you only leave a voicemail, so you want to assign somebody else. Notify the assignee, reminder, and you can set the reminder 1 day, 2 days, same day, anytime. All right, the last part was email. You can select what alert mode you want. You can select the email or pop-up, depends on you. And then here at the end, you have if you want to allow other users to use this macro, You can select all users. Oh, we have also roles, roles, groups of users that you already have built. So let's say if I want to change it to a different groups. So these are the groups that I have already created. So I can just select this group. Instead of going one by one to every single user that I have for the USA team, I can just go and select the team. And that's how that macro is gonna work out. All right. So you can also use this. Let's say you have an event for your company and you have a lot of people coming in. It's a one-time event, so you want to send those emails, trigger that macro, sending an email to all these people, changing update field status to like contacted through email. So that event is only a one-time event. You don't want a workflow to create for every month or every day. So that will work also for that. Now, just giving a scenario, Djokovic is starting to do his job more efficiently. He's following up with those new leads, sending the right emails on time, and recording his updates. But what is the next step? What happens if they do not respond or need a second follow-up? This might not be the case for every lead, so a workflow rule might not be the best option. Using a macro, Novak can pick and choose the leads that he wants to follow, create the view, and record what the next steps should be for the next click of a button, for the click of the button. So we just went over how to create the macro. I'm going to create a new one. Context. Create a macro only for context. So I just test. Choose a template. I don't have any. I can just create one straight from here. It will open another tab, just like on the workflows. You can create another template here. From that, and the same thing, you can use HTML for all the templates. You can just copy and paste from the rich text. You can just do it right here. Select user with the first name and just copy and paste. And all the information will be automatically put into the template. And you just save. So now we have that. And what field do we want to update? List status, list source. Let's say we want to change the list source this time. From to new value, call. And only for USA. And now create a task. Task. Want that one to be up 3 days, or it can be a month. The status can be in progress, priority, normal. Assign to this one. I want to assign it to different people. I'm going to assign it to Chandler. Notify the assignee and reminder. Same day. 7. Email. All right, so it's already there. And I can add another one if I want to add another task to this macro, or another one more field. So you have 3 and 3 that you can select on this. And I want to allow how many users to use this macro. So I want to allow, I can just select the users that I have. So this one, and this one. And create. So I want to go run the macro. I just go here and click that. And select at least one record. So let me create the view for that. Let's say lead source is, so it's a chat. I want to change to call, and I can probably add anyone is empty, any of my lead source is empty. I want to change it to the call. All right, and US. Yeah, you can select that one too. But I want both of them. Yeah. So we can just select one manually. So we're just gonna do Tanya here and run that. So it tell you here, following actions will be executed when you create the macro. So just in case you forget what the actions that you set up for the macro, you see it here, and you can cancel if you don't want to. So it's gonna change the lead source, country is gonna be updated. Gonna create the email with a test template, and the test will be created as subject task, and then you can run it. So we go to Tanya's profile. Here you'll see it says call now instead of chat. That's when you would use a macro. All right, auto assignment rules. When will you need auto assignment rules? Whenever you have created a web form and pasted it on your page, you have a lot of leads coming into the system, leads or contacts, it depends, and you want to assign it to only specific people. So you probably have different websites, or you might have different web forms inside your websites, different products, and you have a team, different teams for all these products. That's when all these assignment rules will come up into place. Or whenever you importing data into the CRM, then you also want to assign all those new data that you have, all those new leads, to different groups of people that you want to send it to. So, all right, so let's just go with this scenario, and then I'll show you how to do that. So your business is starting to grow. Login is surprisingly doing better at the job. Notice your sales are increasing, and a lot more leads are coming in. So now it's time to scale and hire a couple new reps. Let's call Enzo and April. So now you will need to delegate the work between three people. It's going to be tough to reassign every single lead that you add through import or through all your different websites, assigning to different leads, different agents. So what you're going to do, you're going to create an assignment rule who can automatically delegate all these leads to each of your reps that you have selected, and evenly have the workload to every single of your agents. So let me go and show you how we do. So we go to setup, we go to automation. Automation, we have assignment rules. So here you have, after workflows, you have assignment rules. Here you can create different assignment rules to leads, contacts, cases, and any other custom module field, custom module that you have created in the CRM. So I have created these two, so that's why they appear. Cases is another module to have whenever, if you're doing support, I mean, you can have all the cases, for support. So here I have several lead assignment rules already created. So I have ones that will, let's see this one, we'll select only this one, every lead that comes with the phone number from New Zealand, country filled out as Fiji or Australia, will go to my team in New Zealand. So I have that one there. I'm going to show you a couple more. Round robin, which is round table, so you can select evenly to every single of your agents to go one by one to every single one, and then rotate. So let's create one new rule. So let's see, web. So it's my web form number 3 from side 1, and create the rule entry. So here you will create the criteria. It's kind of the same thing, almost like doing the workflows. You have an idea already, so you have to just create the criteria. So this assignment rule is going to go for, let's, country is Colombia, and country is just in case I don't have any of those, I put country is USA. Well, I want all this group to be there. I mean, any of those three, I want it to be there. Yeah, I got that. Yeah, and then assign it. So who you want to assign it to? So you have I have 3 people over here, or my agents, or I can select round robin, which is just evenly to every single one of them. So I have the users, the roles, and the groups. So I can select my group and select my Brazil team. So they will go to all the people that I have already in my group of Brazil. So then I can create a follow-up test just like on the workflows. All right. So you already had created a lead assignment. So we have team web form 3 side 1. All right. So we go to setup. So like I said, we can use this for web forms or for importing data. So let's say we go to leads. We're gonna go import leads. Here you select if you want to import to your own leads or to the whole organization. Then on the bottom we have advanced options. You select the language, time and date, and here you will see that assign lead owner as per assignment rule. And here you will see all those groups that you have created already when you do the importation, all the import when you import your data. You will be able to select it there. And you can also change the lead source, all those. So let's say they went to an event where they sign up on a piece of paper or sign up on your iPad. Then you come here and you put trade show, and all of them will have that source, lead source. So that's one. The other one is through the web form. So come here to web forms. And this one here. You have already drag and drop all your fields that you want. You got your hidden fields here, lead source, lead status. So here they won't see that. Well, I got already web form A for that one. All the people that come from this web form, and lead status not contacted. All right. So next step. And then here, that's when you assign the owner for those people that come from your different web forms. So you can choose the user manually, or you can choose a lead assignment rule, which then here you will see those groups that you have built again. So that way you save time. You don't have to assign all these people manually and waste all the time. All right. And just a few business samples. When would you use this? So make sure. So one of those, make sure the lists from a specific city, states, countries, and regions go to the right sales agents or sales group. Assign leads from your web form or important data to their specific group users. Leads coming from your original campaign A could be automatically redirected to the marketing team in charge of that region. Or once a lead status changes to pre-qualified, then it can automatically be assigned to the account executive team. So now we're jumping into approval process. So the approvals, they will help you to, for the new and updated data that come to the CRM. Sometimes you have a lot of data that coming into the CRM. You cannot do everything yourself. And sometimes it's just, let's say it's a deal that you have and it's a good deal and you want to make sure the right person takes care of that deal or is overwatching that deal. So you can set these approvals. So whenever they go through, let's say you got a potential, it's more than $30,000. So you can set it up for that. So the agent will not do anything with the record. They will have to wait for you to respond to the approval, either delegate, deny, or approve to continue with the sale. It will initiate automatic actions whenever records are approved or rejected. So just here one scenario, and then we go to and I will do it. Your business is going really well. Estelle and Djokovic are now competing each other to see who can close the most sales. You see a lot more deals in the pipeline, but you need to make sure that these are legitimate deals and not something they're just adding to show that they're doing a good job. An approval process can eliminate that doubt. Now, when a new potential is created, it can be given to you to make sure all requirements are met and that you feel confident that the deal is closed before your amazing sales agents proceed. Go to setup, and we go to approval process. So here I got already 4 that I had created. Let's go to qualifying member status. So it looks also similar to the workflows. So here, what's the criteria for this? First, I selected the module. So first you have to select the right module. So this one is on opportunities and is execute on create only. Or I can change that to only edit or create and edit. Here I selected every amount that is higher than 100,000 and closing date is after this date. It will have to be approved by any the person here, the CEO. So I got the CEO here. So we need to be approved by him in order to go with the sale. Or I can select any other users, groups, levels. Select this user, Arnold. There's another one here, James Bond. So you can select here if you want to be approved by any of these people, or you want to be approved by every one of these people. So I select everyone, and here you can select if you want sequential or parallel. So you can select to first the CEO. Well, it wouldn't be that case, but first you will have the CEO. Once he approves, then it will go to Arnold. If Arnold denies it, then it's not going to go through to the next person. Or if he approves, then it goes to James Bond, and then once everybody approves, then the salesperson will continue to go forward with the sale, and you will see something like this on opportunities. You see those locks here on the left? That's when they need an approval. And if you want to change or edit anything, it will not let you. You see, you don't even see the edit button here because you need for the approval to go forward to do anything. So you can, since I'm the person, I can respond to that, and I can say, put my comments on that approval request, and approve, delegate, select the user, or reject. And I just reject. So yeah, so then I can just, let me see, I rejected that one. Opportunities. So now you don't see the lock over here on the left-hand side. I rejected it. He's not going to be able to do that one. But now he can move forward and change edit any other fields. You also have another module, approvals module, and you will see all the approvals waiting for your approval, and you can just come here and just go through all of them. So here I have another one. Here I want that the potential opportunity is on this stage, on proposal stage, and it's between 33,000 and 40,000. So every time that happens, I want that opportunity to be waiting for my approval. Who should approve? That got me. And here you select. You can add a assigned task. You can update any field. So you can update here post follow up. And you can send alert. And you also can add another call webhooks if you have any other third-party applications, or call for a custom function that you have created, for example, with Creator. And you can also add another action if you reject that. So you can send an email to let's go create that one. So you can send an email to the requester manager, like what is he trying to approve? What is he trying to go through this cell, which is not that's not how we work, let's say. Everyone approve, requester manager, and everyone that have approved. So you can create that, create a template. We got some here already, and then associate that to them. So that's on, action on, reject. And you have action on approval. So you have any of those kind of actions that works basically the same thing as the workflows. Okay, some business examples is if the deal is over $10,000, make sure to get to the manager's approval. If a sales rep offers a discount, make sure the manager approves the price change before you do so. If you're having too many things to look over and approve, you can delegate all those approvals to someone else. And when a rep sends a quote, the finance person needs to sign off on it before going through the deal. All right, so we're just going to do a little recap.
So just a recap of what we talked about in this session. We first went over the workflow example, right? So whenever something happens in the system, the if part, what actions can be taken, the then part, right? Or that. So we went over workflows and macros. It lets you let the CRM communicate for you, by sending out emails and following up with your leads via email. Also reminding your reps or yourself to follow up with those customers by creating a task. And then also automatically keep your customer and sales data clear and accurate by making those field updates. So, whenever something happens, you can update the status. You can update other things in the system. And then you can also choose when those actions take place. So either when a scenario happens, so, when a lead is created, a potential is closed, or just by clicking a button, just like a macro would be able to do, and then trigger those specific things to happen. And then after that, we also talked about assignment rules. So when new data comes into your system, you can choose how it's assigned to your team. So again, going on the same example of regions, if it's in a specific state, then assign it to this person. But you also do have the way to evenly distribute it across your team. So if a lead comes in, it goes to person A, then person B, person C, so on and so forth, and evenly distributes it. Or you could set it up based on a criteria like state, industry, whatever other criteria that you set up, maybe your lead source, for example. Okay, so you have both of those options to create assignment rules and assign them to your team. The last thing that we talked about is the approval process. So this allows you to create a check or a balance, for example, so that your upper management or someone like yourself can sign off on something before it continues. So if a potential is created that's above 100 grand and you want to make sure that a manager approves of it, you can make that approval process take place. So you can get specific on what sales or marketing or other CRM data requires that approval. And then if you don't have time yourself to look over these and approve of them or reject of them, you can always delegate it to someone else. So if you have like an assistant or another person that would have that responsibility to look over these things, then you can delegate it to that person as well to approve and reject those potentials or those quotes. Okay? And then when those approvals happen, when those rejections happen, you can initiate emails to be sent out just like a workflow, a task, or a field update as well. So when those are actually completed and some action has been made on it, you could do the same thing like you did in workflows as well. Thank you guys so much.